His name, few people remember. He used to be a cop, but now he's a private eye. He didn't choose this life. It chose him. He's seen the worst of humanity, and he's become a little jaded. But he's still got a code, and he'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. He spends his days in a dimly lit office, waiting for the phone to ring. It's not often that it does. When it does, it's usually someone in trouble, and he could never resist the urge to help, even if it means putting himself in harm's way. He's got a past that he's not proud of, but one that he can't escape. The whiskey helps, but only for a little while. He's not a hero, and he's not a villain. He's just a man trying to make a living in a city that doesn't care.
More overdue bills. If you're broke, bills are only good for one thing.
Glamorous widow suspected in murder of notorious crime boss. The city was stunned as news of the brutal murder of notorious crime boss, Tony the Shark Marlowe, spread like wildfire. The police were called to the scene of the crime, a luxurious penthouse apartment overlooking the city, where they found Marlowe, 57, dead from multiple gunshot wounds. The initial investigation pointed to Tony's glamorous and enigmatic wife, Lavita Marlowe, as the prime suspect. Detectives were quick to note that Mrs. Marlowe was nowhere to be found and had not been seen or heard from since the night of the murder. Sources close to the police department say that Mrs. Marlowe, known for her extravagant lifestyle and love for the finer things, had been spotted in the company of several shady characters in the days leading up to the murder. Eyewitnesses reported hearing raised voices and the sound of gunfire coming from the couple's apartment on the night of the murder. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, detectives believe that Mrs. Marlowe had motive and opportunity to carry out the killing. She was reportedly unhappy in her marriage and had been seeking a way out of her life with Tony for some time. The city is in shock as they come to terms with the fact that one of the most powerful men in the underworld was taken out by the woman he loved. The search for Mrs. Marlowe continues, and the police are urging anyone with information to come forward.
Say, that looks like the dame from the paper. Well, well, if it isn't the city's most wanted. What do you want?
Are you Peter O'Malley, the private eye?
That's what it said on all those bills.
I'm Lavita Marlowe and I need your help. My husband, Tony Marlowe, has been murdered. But the police are after me. They think I did it.
And you came to me why? I'm a washed-up ex-cop. Not exactly the first choice for the wife of a crime boss.
I have no one else to turn to. I can pay you well, enough to get you back on top. If you help me track down the real killer.
And what makes you think I can help you?
I heard you were the best. That you could find answers where others couldn't.
All right, I'll hear you out. What do you know about your husband's death? Mrs. Marlowe explains the details of the case, mentioning a meeting between Tony and Joe Johnston, a rival boss. A detective, Jack Donovan, is heading the case for the police. Humphrey Hogarth, Tony's muscle, was there that night, and finally the Marlowe's maid. All right, I'll take the case, but I'm warning you, it won't be easy, and I'm paid up front.
Thank you. I knew I could count on you.
And where are you staying now?
I can't say. I don't want to lead the police to me.
I understand, but if I'm going to help you, I need to be able to get in contact. Write down a number where I can reach you, and I'll see what I can do to find the real killer. Tony Marlowe. They called him the Shark because he was vicious and took a bite of whatever he wanted. His death will create a dangerous power vacuum. Sounds like I have a place to start. I figured the cops would have been here by now. They're usually hot on the heels of dames and heels. Well, if it isn't Detective Jack Donovan. And what brings you to my office, Detective?
So you're a private eye now, O'Malley?
Well, a buck is a buck, but you know how it is. Was there something you needed?
You know why I'm here, O'Malley. I'm investigating the murder of Tony Marlowe.
Well, I didn't kill him. You've come to the wrong place.
Levita Marlowe was seen entering this building, and I didn't figure she was here for dry cleaning. I want to know where she is.
Why? So you can rush her down to the jail and claim you closed the case.
I'm just trying to do my job, O'Malley. And right now, Mrs. Marlowe is a top suspect in the case.
That may be true, Detective Donovan, but I'm working for Mrs. Marlowe now, and I don't intend to give her up to you.
Fine, O'Malley. Mrs. Marlowe isn't the only suspect I need to track down. I have a couple other leads.
Well, you know what they say. It's always the maid.
What? What do you know about Tessa Fluffy Bottom?
Who's she?
The Marlowe's maid. She is on the suspect list. Do you know something?
Nah, I don't know anything. So, who else you putting the pinch on?
Well, I'm not at liberty to discuss names. Let's just say that a rival and someone else close to the victim round up my list.
Thanks for the tip, Detective.
Hey, remember O'Malley. You may be a private eye now, but you're still an ex-cop and you don't want to mess with the police.
Well, the suspects seem to be adding up. The dame, a maid, a thug, and a crime boss. If I'm going to get to the bottom of this, I need to talk to an old friend.
The rain poured down in sheets, pounding against the pavement like 1,000 fists. He pulled his coat tight, trying to fend off the chill that seeped through his bones. It was a night like any other in this God-forsaken city. A night when the shadows seemed to stretch a little longer and the darkness seemed to hold a little tighter.
I was on my way to see an old informant, Mickey Schmidt. Mickey was a small-time crook from Chicago. He discovered it was easier to make a buck with information versus petty crime. I found Mickey working at an old bowling alley on the edge of town.
O'Malley, why are you coming around my place of business?
Mickey, it's a bowling alley, not a street corner. I need some information, and you always seem to have some good info.
You know, I did hear you were looking for information on the Tony Marlowe case.
That's right. I'm trying to piece together what happened the night he was killed. Any leads would be appreciated.
I don't know much, but I heard some names floating around. There's Tesla Fluffy Bottom, Joe Johnston, Levy Marlowe, and Bumfrey Hobart.
What do you know about these people?
Not much, just that they were all in the area around the time of the murder. I heard some rumors about Fluffy Bottom and Hobart having some kind of beef with Marlowe, but I can't say for sure.
What about Joe Johnston?
I got nothing on Joe Johnston.
Mickey, you know it's easier and less painful if you just tell me.
Whoa, whoa! No violence is necessary! Joe had a meeting with Tony. Tony was trying to take a bite out of Joe's business.
Last thing, Mickey. Did you hear anything about Levita Marlowe?
I hear the cops think she was trying to bring in an outside hit. The rumor came from inside the Marlowe crew. Thanks for the $50. I gotta go. Hey, no smoking back there, you kids.